kind of go through them and around them. But when you have fully bloomed trees, if you have any fully bloomed trees in your neighborhood, those trees are going to be absorbing more of that wind this morning as this races off to the east with all the leaves on the trees there. A little bit more weight on those trees too. So again, last week, a lot of Bradford pear trees, and I would expect the same with this line of storms this week, and possibly more of those weaker, older trees that have been sitting around as well.
Yeah, if you have one in your front yard, in your backyard, you know to keep an eye on that. That tornado warning out of Cleveland County expired as of right now. Severe thunderstorm warning stretching from York County all the way up through Lincolnton, even further into our mountain counties. Meteorologist Brandon Lawson and myself will be here keeping an eye on the line of storms heading in our direction for you. If anything changes, if anything happens, we'll keep you updated and, of course, keep you focused on what to expect next throughout the morning. We're going to take a quick break and have more Queen City news now when we come back.
Some experts are urging travelers to book their flights early this year as the war with Iran could drive up airfare. Industry executives say that travelers could soon start to feel the war's effect on jet fuel prices, which make up a large part of the ticket costs. Some analysts predict domestic airlines will need to increase fares by at least 11% to offset rising oil costs. Travel experts say that flying on Saturdays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays are typically more affordable. Flying during off-peak seasons could also help cut costs. Here's a closer look at some of the prices we are seeing at the pump kicking off this new work week. AAA reporting that the national average is $3.72 a gallon. That's 24 cents higher than last week. The average gallon of gas here in North Carolina, you're looking at $3.53. That's 26 cents higher than last week. South Carolina also climbing as well, $3.42 a gallon. That increase is similar to North Carolina. You're up 30 cents from last Saturday. Forbes has officially released its list of best companies to work for in the U.S. This year's features a mix of household names and mission-driven institutions. The number one company, Trader Joe's. That is mostly due to accessibility of wage increases and promising health plans. For mid-sized companies, a North Carolina-based group made the top 20. Epic Games came in 17th nationally for employee satisfaction in Cary, North Carolina. So there you go. All right, thankful to Brandon and Ted giving us that weather update. Stay with us as we kick off our final hour of Queen City News.
Queen City News starts now.
Here we go. Good Monday morning, everyone. 9 o'clock. Welcome into the final hour of Queen City News. I'm Jason Harper.
I'm Annie Satowski. Julian Sador is off today.
I'm meteorologist Ted Payton with your pinpoint weather forecast on this pinpoint weather alert day, one that has already provided a tornado warning for Cleveland County, and that line of storms really setting up just east of I-77, or west of I-77 rather, continuing to travel east.
When you look at the instability of what we just saw in the last 20 minutes with you and Brandon, do you see that continuing over the next few hours through lunch?
Yeah, they've extended the severe thunderstorm warnings well ahead of the storms, even areas that haven't gotten the brunt of the rainfall yet. York County, Chester County, mainly due to letting folks know what's already going to be heading in our direction. Beautiful look from our Dallas camera out of Gaston County. If you take a look here, what you see towards the right side of your screen, you notice the dark shading on the right side underneath the cloud. That's what we look at the downdraft, indicating some of the torrential rainfall. You're literally looking at the rain here from the tower camera or Dallas camera showing the cloud cover and where some of that rainfall has set up. We are going to continue to track the line of storms from Hickory south through Lincolnton, Gastonia, Highway 321, really going through the brunt of it as of right now, into Gaffney, crossing into York County, and the orange on your map indicating where the severe thunderstorm warnings are triggered as of right now, just one now, including Iredell County, continuing to push east. Again, that's what I mean by those severe thunderstorm warnings being triggered for areas that haven't even seen the storm yet, but will get the warnings because of the history of what these storms have provided, with that tornado warning expiring as of just a few moments ago, about 5 to 10 minutes ago, for parts of Cleveland County rather. Water vapor satellite imagery shows the moisture in the atmosphere, the warmth building that instability with this cold front quickly and drastically moving east. This is moving fast, and that's going to give us the highest storm potential east of Charlotte, but we're still included in the risk for severe weather with your winds picking up speed, pushing through the mid-Atlantic, giving us wind gusts upwards of 30 to 40 miles per hour, if not higher, in the form of those storms and those downpours. So we have the enhanced risk for severe weather. That's level 3 out of 5. A moderate risk for severe weather, level 4 out of 5. That is significant in the red shading, stretching up through Washington, D.C. and parts of Richmond. The green is indicating where the instability and that lift in the atmosphere. That's going to be the forecast for what gives us the strength and the potential for the strong storms that come into play late morning into your early afternoon further east towards the Outer Banks and into Raleigh, Fayetteville, and parts of Greenville. Here close to home, I'm still expecting us to clear out overnight into your Tuesday with much cooler and colder temperatures settling in. These winds are really ramping up as we see the convergence of the lines, indicating where that cold front sets up. Breezy conditions lasting here through the back end of the system all the way into your overnight Monday into your Tuesday. So we could see wind gusts upwards of 45 miles per hour heading into the afternoon, easing up on the back end here, but still not out of the woods yet when it comes to the storm potential. I'll break down more of our temperatures, the warmth ahead of the storms, and also what to expect here with another check coming up in the next 5 minutes. Annie?
All right, Ted, thank you. State and local emergency responders are prepared to mobilize as that severe weather moves into our area.
And officials are warning of potential power outages and property damage with tornadoes and hail possible across North Carolina.
Queen City News anchor Savannah Rudisell is live near Uptown with a look at those preparations. Savannah, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. So far this morning, what we've seen just over the past 2 hours or so has been very sporadic conditions. At some point, we'll have some quick, short, but heavy downpours of rain. Then it'll go away for a few minutes, come back a little bit lighter. And then as of right now, we're seeing more peaks of really bright sunshine come through here just outside of Uptown. So we've seen kind of the gambit of conditions. But one thing that's been pretty consistent is we've had some stronger winds here. That's been blowing some of our equipment around, blowing our hair around just a little bit. So that's something that we can tell is going to be a precursor to more impactful weather today. Now, while this is still relatively calm here this morning, we know that a lot of the emergency crews are using this time while it's still dry to go ahead and get ready for potentially a busy day. Now, Duke Energy officials say they have trucks that are ready to deploy statewide, but won't know exactly where they're needed most until more of those impacts hit North Carolina. The intensity of the storms coming, though, are still keeping them on alert. They say that these high wind gusts, they have the potential to really knock down trees over, break branches, fall onto power lines. And energy officials say that if that happens, they will work as quickly as possible to restore power to those who are in the dark. But they say what's going to take priority over speed is going to be the safety of the crew.
They do restrict their activities when the winds get above 29 miles per hour because it's not safe to raise the buckets in the air. And we have to put the safety of our crews first. So if we're in a stretch where we see that kind of wind, that could delay some of our crews being able to get out and do those repairs.
In North Carolina emergency management officials, they say that they are working hand in hand with major utility companies as well as local emergency response teams. They say they are also ready to deploy some of their larger units, such as like urban recovery, search and rescue, if that is needed at any point throughout the state. And then Governor Josh Stein issued a warning to all North Carolina families saying, make sure you're prepared, make sure you know where to go if you need to find shelter in your area, and make sure you are tuned in to local broadcasts here to know when that weather is moving into your area. Reporting live just outside Uptown, Savannah Rudisell, Queen City News.
All right, Savannah, thank you very much. Appreciate that. We're also hearing a ground stop at Charlotte Douglas Airport till about 10 or 10:15 this morning. So we will keep you updated with the severe weather. You can also stay up to date on any of the changing conditions. You can track rain and storms in your neighborhood wherever you travel with the free Pinpoint Weather app on your cell phone. Download it right now in the Apple App Store or on Google Play.
Well, there's a new spin on the community protest against a Fort Mill manufacturing facility. The organizers behind the Move Silfab group have started a scavenger hunt of road signs that say danger. Silfab Solar has faced opposition for years, but that intensified after 2 chemical leaks this month. Protesters have put about 30 of those danger signs in the Fort Mill area, and they're asking people to find them and post pictures with them.
What we wanted to do with these signs is to make this a tangible reminder that we do live in an area that is under threat by Silfab Solar, which is a hostile neighbor.
Silfab officials say the leaks that never posed any threats to the community, and they're working alongside state and county officials to comply with safety protocols.
It's now been 3 weeks since the U.S. and Israel first launched strikes on Iran. New airstrikes were reported over the weekend in Beirut and Tehran. Meanwhile, an Iran-backed militia targeted the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. So far, more than 1,300 people have been killed. The global economy is feeling the impact. Iran has now shut off the Strait of Hormuz, which is where 1/5 of the world's oil supply travels through. President Trump says that he's also working with other countries to help secure the strait. The president also says now is not the time to be making a ceasefire deal. Iran officials say that they never have reached out for ceasefire negotiations. It is 9:08 on this Pinpoint Weather Alert Day. Let's bring back in Ted. Ted, what's the timing of what we're seeing this morning?
Yeah, it's going to be throughout the morning into the early afternoon. Right now, still west of I-77, holding on to some of the heaviest rain over parts of Gaston County, now crossing into York County as we take a closer look into street level in terms of where the brunt of the downpours are setting up. Gastonia getting the brunt of that rainfall. That's impacting Dallas as well. We took a look at our Dallas camera earlier. If you were to pull it up now, you likely will see a completely different picture as this travels east towards Belmont, Mount Holly, and we still have that warmth building some of the instability ahead of that. So putting the clock into motion here in terms of how the last 30 minutes have panned out, we had the expired tornado warning coming out of Cleveland County. Kings Mountain just got the worst of the downpour and the rain. Now this is traveling along I-85 heading east into Gastonia. Belmont, you're going to be on the lookout for some of those impacts. And as of the last few minutes, severe thunderstorm warning now including Mecklenburg County, and that's going to be sticking around until at the very least later on today until 10 a.m. for your mid to late morning hours. So we'll see the storms push further east rather quickly, still moving at about 40 to 50 miles per hour, and that's going to continue to trigger those severe thunderstorm warnings ahead of it as we build the temperatures in terms of those upper 60s near 70 degrees heading further east. So the line of storm stretching all the way through South Carolina, that's going to give us the potential for damaging winds ahead of the system. So make sure you have secured any outdoor debris, any outdoor furniture or decorations. As these storms continue to track east, I'll detail more of the timing for you, walk you through the rest of your morning into the afternoon with another check of your forecast coming up here in the next 10 minutes. Jason.
All right, Ted, I appreciate that. Thank you. Let's go ahead and wrap up our pinpoint traffic for our morning. The green you're seeing there, that's not radar. Those are road conditions, and those are the conditions that are reporting to us that they're wet. So a big chunk of our viewing area, at least 70 or more % of our viewing area is wet. So if you're not, you will be at some point. We've got 6 or 7 icons. Honestly, traffic hasn't been as bad as I thought it would be with the storms coming through. So we are grateful to wrap up traffic this morning in these conditions. Let's take you downtown. This is uptown looking at the John Belk Freeway, I-277 straight at us, courtesy of NCDOT cameras here. I-77 down below, looking really good. The streets don't look too bad in that section, so I like it. Out west where we are, man, it is windy. Shaking our tower camera, that's I-85 north and south. I don't want to make you dizzy, so we'll move off of that, but let's go down to the North-South Carolina state line, I-77. This is right near Carowinds. The traffic on the right, those 4 lanes there, headed up into the Charlotte area. And drive times are looking good, whether it's Gastonia coming down from Lake Norman or up from Rock Hill, Fort Mill. You guys are in good hands right now. Still a little breezy on the east side of town. This is Independence Boulevard, and that stretch is also looking good, whether you're coming down from Concord, in from Independence or Monroe. And let's wrap it up with drive times to the airport. We heard they were on a ground stop at the airport because of some nearby lightning. We'll keep monitoring that, but if you do need to go, check with your airlines, make sure there's no delays or cancellations, but the drive to get there, you are in good shape. Just don't be distracted this morning with your cell phone. Annie?
Club West Brewing reopening Saturday morning to a packed house. How patrons are reacting to the business's new rebrand. You're watching Queen City News, the most honored and local news in Charlotte.
The time is 9:14. Welcome back. There are some long wait times at major airports around the country. The partial government shutdown is straining TSA staff and resources at security checkpoints. Washington correspondent Margaret Chadbourne has a closer look at the impact.
Both my husband and I work for TSA, and we are living paycheck to paycheck.
Hundreds of thousands of TSA workers are set to miss their first full paycheck. The partial government shutdown, now 1 month in, is leaving some at TSA struggling to afford the basics.
You are now starting to hear the stories of officers who may be facing eviction, who have no electricity because it's being cut off.
Airports like Denver are starting to collect $10 and $20 grocery and gas gift cards to help workers get by. Similar to Seattle, Las Vegas, and Cleveland, where donation drives and food pantries are now set up for TSA staff.
We're asking for the public's help in keeping this food pantry stocked so that we can help as many employees as possible.
More agents are calling out sick, and the TSA reports 300 workers have now quit altogether, resulting in long lines at airports nationwide during the busy spring break travel season.
This is an unnecessary and unwanted inconvenience.
Lawmakers in Washington cannot come to an agreement on how to fund the Department of Homeland Security in order to ensure that TSA and other government workers get paid.
Democrats, they're apparently not concerned about the defense of the homeland.
Democrats say any deal must include reforms to how ICE agents enforce immigration laws and have offered to fund TSA and other crucial agencies while a deal on ICE protocol is worked out.
We want to fund government. We're willing to do that immediately, but we want to reform ICE.
Republicans say that's a non-starter, warning a prolonged shutdown will undermine U.S. security. With Republicans and Democrats blaming one another, there is no end to the standoff in sight. Reporting in Washington, Margaret Chadbourne.
The U.S. is temporarily lifting sanctions placed on Russian oil as costs spike because of the Iran war. The sanctions were put in place to limit Russian profits during its war against Ukraine. The announcement comes about a week after the administration lifted restrictions allowing India to buy Russian oil for the next 30 days. The goal is to cut down on energy and oil costs, which spiked when Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz following the U.S. and Israeli offensive against the country. Last week, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman General Dan Kane briefly touched on this shutdown at the Strait, saying it's not a concern.
And as the world is seeing, they are exercising sheer desperation in the Straits of Hormuz. Something we're dealing with, we have been dealing with it, and don't need to worry about it. We're on plan to defeat, destroy, disable all of their meaningful military capabilities at a pace the world has never seen before.
A group of Democratic senators is calling for the Trump administration to discuss the move to ease sanctions. They are requesting a congressional hearing on the matter with U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent by the end of the month.
We want to bring back in meteorologist Ted Phaeton on this pinpoint weather alert day. We're watching the radar as everything's kind of moving from west to east, Ted.
Yeah, and that has us under a tornado watch for our entire area. Yellow on your map indicating the severe thunderstorm watch, many of which have already been under a severe thunderstorm warning ahead of the line of storms tracking east towards the Queen City, still staying west of I-77. But we are watching for the brunt of the system here continuing to make its way into the Carolinas and into the I-77 corridor. Now just pushing east of Highway 321. Gastonia still dealing with the brunt of some of that rainfall, taking you a little closer here to street level towards Belmont. Mount Holly, you're going to be on the lookout for some light rain to start, but then some periods of heavy rain pushing through Lowell into Belmont. Traveling along I-85, seeing some of the impacts from the downpours as that continues to track east. So severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for wind gusts of what could be upwards of 60 miles per hour at times. This line of storms moving east at about 40 to 50 miles per hour. So if I could just forecast really quick the ETA for how things are expected, traveling my finger down the line. taking it east here at about 40 to 50 miles per hour. Let's say 45 miles per hour to kind of split the difference and see the ETA for what we're going to be expecting. That's what's going to give us, again, the potential for this system to push further east. Maybe too many cities to name as of our forecast for what you could expect. But again, this is where the brunt of those storms will be here into the next hour or so as those storms continue to push further east. So as we look at radar, quickly moving with that line extending even through southeast Georgia from Augusta into mid-country of South Carolina. Severe thunderstorm warnings in place, and we have that cold front that's sparking these storms ahead of that, with the moisture very much abundant ahead of the system. So timing for the rest of the morning, 11 o'clock to noon is where I expect that to cross your I-77 corridor. By 12:40, 1 o'clock east towards Rockingham into your early afternoon hours, we still see the impacts towards Rockingham and the Southern Pines with some lingering showers on the back end here. And then we transition into more of the snow potential for our western facing slopes and higher elevations, giving us the accumulating snow of what could be upwards of 2 to 3 inches heading into your Monday evening. So on the back end here, some breezy conditions stick around. Your severe threat sits at an enhanced risk for severe weather, level 3 out of 5. The moderate risk for severe weather in that red shading, level 4 out of 5. And the main threat being damaging winds, the potential for isolated tornadoes. And I'm looking at hail and flooding being more on the low end risk here as we head into your Monday. So totals will be anywhere from 1/4 of an inch to maybe 1/2 an inch. Not an abundant amount of rainfall with this, mainly due to how fast the system's moving. Upper 60s already felt, which is going to be our daytime highs. Not going to get much warmer from this. As a matter of fact, getting cooler as that cold front crosses east, ushering in frigid temperatures on the back end, already getting snow and winter weather for Chicago, Illinois, into the Ohio Valley region with below normal temperatures through our central United States, from the deep south up through the Dakotas, into parts of Kentucky and Tennessee. We could drastically see the cold air heading into your Tuesday as overnight lows plummet into the teens for our mountain counties, upper 20s, low 30s around the Queen City. I'm looking at your freeze watch, freeze warning early morning on Tuesday, winter weather advisory this evening into your Tuesday as we hold on to those frigid overnight temperatures going from the low 30s, upper 20s, 40s turn into 50s with 60s and 70s on tap heading into the weekend. You're watching Queen City News Now, the most honored and the most local news in Charlotte. We'll be right back.
Back. What if you could stretch your brain like any other muscle in your body? Well, experts say you can, and there, as you can imagine, are plenty of benefits to it. Stretching your brain can help lower your risk of Alzheimer's disease and cognitive decline. Working out your brain can look like doing a daily crossword puzzle, reading and writing, learning a new language, or even playing chess. Doctors say it is never too late or too early to start cognitively enriching activities.
They kind of like stretch your brain, your thinking, you're using your different cognitive systems in the brain. So it's not just one activity, it's more about finding meaningful activities that you might be passionate about rather than just singling out one particular activity.
So grab that Sudoku puzzle, right? Physical health is critical to brain health as well. That's why experts also recommend exercise and controlling blood pressure and getting enough sleep.
I'm stretching my brain as we speak, Annie. Right now, stretching it. It hurts. Oscar winners took their place in film history with an exciting night at the Academy Awards. It was one win after another as one battle after another took 6 Academy Awards last night, including Best Picture, Best Director, and Adapted Screenplay for Paul Thomas Anderson. Sean Penn got Best Supporting Actor and the first ever casting Oscar for Cassandra Kolokoudis. K-pop Demon Hunters earned Best Animated Film, and they also made history with Golden, the first K-pop song to win Original Song. Sinners also made history last night with Autumn Durald Arkapaw, who became the first woman to win for cinematography. And of course, Best Actor goes to Michael B. Jordan. Big night out in Hollywood.
All right, let's go to the totally opposite coast, shall we? Here's a live look over New York City. We'll have a check of your Wall Street futures just around the corner. Business correspondent Jane King joins us in about 3 minutes. right, coming up on 9:30 here on your Monday morning. You can't hear it, but we can. The rain is coming down here in our studios in West Charlotte. Thank you for joining us. I'm Annie Satowski.
I'm Jason Harper. Nice to have you with us on this Monday. Joy and Sador off today. Ted, sounds like an army of ants tap dancing on our roof this morning. And it's kind of come in waves. Is that going to sort of be what everyone's going through today?
For the morning, that's what we're going to be dealing with. Maybe some residual showers on the back end here, but the brunt of these storms moving through the army of ants, I'd rather take that than what could be more of the aggressive rainfall and the winds that could pick up here through your morning and early afternoon hours. Really coming down here over our studios out of West Charlotte, taking a look from Gaston County, our Dallas camera, getting a little bit of relief that once had the downpours overhead, now traveling east of Dallas and further into parts of uptown and even further towards that I-77 corridor here early this morning. So the brunt of these storms pushing through. I'm looking at the deep red that's over parts of southern Mecklenburg County, coming out of York County now, indicating some of the heaviest rain that will likely welcome you as you head out the door. That's giving us the torrential rainfall just east of Belmont, Mount Holly, taking you down to street level here, coming down State Road to parts of even Statesville and into the highway, or the airport rather, that's seeing some of the torrential rainfall. Tega Cay getting some of the brunt of this system traveling further east. Zooming out just a little bit and taking you even further north to Huntersville, Cornelius seeing some significant rainfall impacting I-77. Mooresville seeing some of the brunt of the rain that's going to continue to track east. As I mentioned, this mainly going to be your morning impacts approaching uptown for your late morning, early afternoon as the severe thunderstorm warnings continue to track further east ahead of this system lasting through 10 a.m. So the storm system travels east as that moisture continues to stay very much locked in over the Carolinas. This cold front, the triggering mechanism behind the brunt of those storms, ushering in some colder temperatures on the back end here. It's not just the spring-like warmth that we had, but it's the significant cold air on the back end of that cold front sparking these storms that gives us more of the potential for that activity further east of Charlotte towards Raleigh and even up through Richmond, Virginia, giving us the wind potential picking up through the mid-Atlantic. So I'm looking at the red on your map indicating the moderate risk for severe weather. That's level 4 out of 5. The enhanced risk for severe weather, level 3 out of 5. And again, it's still seeing the potential lift in the atmosphere as that warmth builds, pushing east of Charlotte and even further exiting off to the east as we continue to hold on to more of those impacts through your late morning, early afternoon. Wind potential is also something to watch out for. Those wind gusts pick up upwards of 30 to 40 miles per hour as that cold front tracks east. That's going to give us wind gusts pretty much significant from your late morning into the early afternoon. Secure any outdoor furniture as we can see up to 36 mile per hour wind gusts through 11 a.m. and then easing up, but still breezy heading into this evening. So wind advisory for our mountain counties as well as our South Carolina counties lingers. We will hold on to your wind damage risk, significant up to 45% for Charlotte and areas east, seeing the higher wind damage potential. I'll walk you through more of our temperatures and what to expect here with another look at your forecast coming up in the next 5 minutes. Jason?
All right, Ted, appreciate that. We want to make sure you can stay up to date minute by minute on the changing conditions that are coming through our area. You can track the rainstorms right there in your neighborhood or wherever your phone is. If you leave the house, go shopping, wherever you're going, our Pinpoint Weather app will keep you up to date in those moments. Free to download right this second. You can go to the Apple App Store or download it on Google Play. Meta is reportedly cutting jobs to pay for AI.
And investors continue to keep a very close eye on the Middle East. Let's bring in business correspondent Jane King to talk all about those headlines this morning. How are we starting off the day 3 minutes after opening bell?
Well, we're higher. Dow's up about 360, 370 points or so. A little bit of news coming out of the Middle East that is impacting things here this morning, and that is that some oil tankers are getting through the Strait of Hormuz. No U.S. tankers, but some Indian, Iranian, maybe some Chinese, but people on the ground they're reporting there is some movement there, and so oil is getting to where it needs to be. So oil prices down, that's sending the stock market up so far this morning.
Hey, all right, Jane, that could be some good news. Caesars could soon have a new owner.
So the owner of the Golden Nugget Casino, Tillman Fertitta, is actively negotiating a deal to buy Caesars, according to reports. So if this deal gets done, it would not be finalized till April, and then it wouldn't close until next year. But there's also another billionaire perhaps in the wings. Carl Icahn may be waiting to make a deal for Caesars as well. So a little activity in the casino industry today.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that. Well, Jane, Meta might be planning some mass layoffs.
Well, according to Reuters, Meta reportedly planning layoffs that could affect up to 20% of its workforce. It'd be about 16,000 employees. 3 anonymous sources told Reuters the plans are underway, and they're driven by soaring AI infrastructure costs that Meta is paying and wants to save some money there. Now, no final decision on timing or scale has been made. Meta called the report speculative, so we'll wait for some further clarification on this.
Sounds good, Jane. We appreciate that as always. Have a great Monday. We'll catch up with you early tomorrow.
Thanks.
All right, well, you may have noticed some new road signs in the Fort Mill area. They say danger. You're within the orange radius danger zone, and they're all part of a scavenger hunt. Queen City News reporter David Schumann talked to the man who put the signs up as a way to protest a controversial manufacturing facility in town.
It's not very high off the ground, but the words blare at passing drivers. Danger, you're within the radius for a hazmat event.
What we wanted to do with these signs is to make this a tangible reminder that we do live in an area that is under threat by Silfab Solar, which is a hostile neighbor.
The Silfab Solar manufacturing facility that neighbors a Fort Mill elementary school has faced community opposition for years. That intensified following 2 chemical leaks this month.
Neighbors are finally starting to wake up.
There are about 30 of these signs around the Fort Mill area, including right here outside Carowinds. The organizers of the Move Silfab protest movement have made a social media scavenger hunt out of them. Brandon Langford says people who post pictures of the signs will be entered to win clothing items that say Move Silfab. He determined where the signs should go using information from a University of South Carolina report that looked at a worst-case scenario event at the Silfab facility. Silfab disputes the report, saying the studies don't reflect the company's safety systems or operating procedures. Silfab officials have maintained the leaks never posed any threat and say they're working with South Carolina's Department of Environmental Services to comply with all safety protocols. The DES has allowed Silfab to continue with assembly operations, but not manufacturing at this point.
You know, ultimately, if Silfab operates within the parameters of the law, that is all DES can do to enforce.
Fort Mill State Senator Michael Johnson says he doesn't think Silfab should be allowed to do manufacturing where it is, but ultimately that decision lies with York County leaders.
I've become very vocal, and I intend to stay vocal and push the county to remove them from that area.
In Fort Mill, David Schumann, Queen City News.
A protest is planned tonight at the York County Government Center before the county council meeting.
President Trump is calling on U.S. allies to help to keep an oil shipping route in the Middle East open. Now, this comes after the fighting in Iran enters its 3rd week. Washington correspondent Gabrielle Caracciolo has the latest.
Returning to Washington after a weekend in Florida, President Trump says he's been working to form a coalition of countries to police the Strait of Hormuz.
Really, I'm demanding that these countries come in and protect their own territory because it is their territory. It's the place from which they get their energy, and they should come and they should help us protect it.
Iran has been targeting ships trying to pass through the oil shipping route, disrupting energy markets around the world and gas prices here at home.
Prices are going to come tumbling down as soon as it's over, and it's going to be over pretty quickly.
But despite saying Iran has been decimated, the president says he's not ready to declare victory or make a deal to end the conflict.
I don't know that I want to make a deal because you know what? First of all, nobody even knows who you're dealing with because most of their leadership has been killed, as you know, right?
And when asked about the possibility of putting boots on the ground, he wouldn't comment.
I don't talk about a military strategy. Who would talk about?
And that was Gabrielle Caracciolo reporting there. The International Energy Agency says that emergency oil will soon start flowing to global markets. The agency says that the 400 million barrels it agreed to release will be available starting by the end of March. Here's a closer look at some of the prices we're seeing here at the pump. AAA reporting national average around $3.72 a gallon, 24 cents higher than last week, and you can see North and South Carolina averages as well. All right, we are hearing that we've got a break in the weather this morning on this Pinpoint Weather Alert Day. We want to send it over right now to meteorologist Ted Payton. Ted, what are you hearing?
Yeah, we're keeping an eye on radar. National Weather Service giving us the alert that they are going to be triggering a tornado warning for uptown Charlotte, Mecklenburg County. Right now under a severe thunderstorm warning for those winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. Not triggered yet, but here's your early warning to hunker down and get into your safe place as we are looking at the impacts traveling right into uptown Charlotte and the heaviest rain moving through. I'm going to switch over to velocity to see if we could pinpoint where that rotation is before getting to that severe that tornado warning. Not seeing the clear difference in speed, but just a little hint, a little pixel of green here on the southern fringe of that polygon for the severe thunderstorm warning. So we are seeing a little bit of a hint of rotation at the very least here towards State Road 361, even further south here, taking you towards Carmel, Kingswood. That's where you want to be on the lookout here. And I'm going to zoom out to make sure I don't miss this being hit, and I'm going to step out so I don't throw off the radar.
You can see it really well on the Charlotte radar this morning. Let me go ahead and move over to the Charlotte radar here.
Yeah, I know the GSP radar could overshoot it here at this point.
So let's get over to the Charlotte radar this morning because you can see it really well in there. Let's go back to home. So again, we're looking at the Charlotte terminal radar. There's the area of rotation right in there. It's over North Graham Street, right over East 36th Street, State Highway 29, moving right through Sugar Creek right now. So tornado warning issued for uptown Charlotte, and the area of rotation is right over Sugar Creek. So if we had a tornado, the Sugar Creek area is where that tornado would be at the moment, Ted. And again, that's where we're tracking that rotation right in there on the Charlotte terminal radar.
Yeah, absolutely. Keeping an eye on that. I'm going to turn off hand tracker here on our radar so we don't throw the map into a frenzy here. But that's what we're looking at for where you want to get to your safe place as of right now, pushing north of Sugar Creek, the heaviest rain continuing to impact you. But those winds is really going to be the main thing to watch out for as you want to get to your safe place as of right now. Meteorologist Brandon Lawson driving the radar for us as that tornado warning is going to be in effect at the very least for the next 30 to 35 minutes till about 10:15 a.m., stretching north and east. Let's see if we can get not just the area of the rotation, but even put a time track on this for folks as we see the green and the red. That's exactly what we're seeing here in terms of where that rotation is, just south and east of uptown. We're talking Cherry into Chantilly and Rosemont getting the main impacts here. That's going to be east again along I-77 and crossing further. Let's see if we could zoom out and get a little bit of a track to see the timing of the ETA of how this will be setting up for folks getting in their safe place, Brandon, and for folks hunkering down, looking at getting in their safe place. Minutes is what you have in terms of your lead time. This travels north and east, and we're seeing Harrisburg about 9:58 for those impacts. But again, there's a lot of areas between there that will get more of the impacts in terms of the brunt of this rotation.
I was going to say, it's going to be hard to pick up on some of those areas on our tracker, but Chantilly, Midwood area, being your safe spot. If there's a tornado, it would be right over you right now, right over East 7th Street, moving through Elizabeth, Rosemont, up into Chantilly and Midwood. That's where the tornado would be. So Midwood, Chantilly, Rosemont, and also as if you live along East 7th Street around Elizabeth or Park Drive, East 5th Street, that's where the tornado would be. This is moving to the north and east at about 45 miles per hour. I should say east-northeast. So it's likely going to miss Belmont to the south, but southern portions of Belmont definitely want to be in your safe spot. But this is going to be moving towards, we're talking about Green Meadows, Hope Park, Grove Park area, Winterfield, Darby Acres. Those spots definitely want to be, you want to be in your safe spot as well. When we talk about safe spot, we mean that interior room, lowest level of your structure possible, away from as many exterior walls and windows as possible. This is some pretty good rotation popping up on radar, Ted. Yeah. You can see the green and the red there coming together. Definitely a good area of rotation to indicate that while we have that tornado warning in place.
Yeah, let's see if we can get a little bit of the indicator on the speed, say if we get the end speed for maybe a hint at what we're looking at here. Again, still very radar indicated. This is not going to be official by any stretch. Very well depicted on the rotation here. Just out of Chantilly, continuing to push east of Uptown, and you're looking at negative 19 miles per hour, 23 miles per hour, so end-to-end speeds north of almost 40 miles per hour as you're looking at that rotation, and that is coupled with the forward motion of the storm as well. And the downpours, we are seeing the potential for those impacts here for folks getting in their safe place as they track most of this rotation just outside of Uptown Charlotte. This is for Mecklenburg County. Going to clear out here the temperatures. Zoom out as you can see the rotation quickly moving east now. This is impacting Briar Creek Road, continuing to push up towards, heading towards Central Ave. This is going to be approaching more of the Plaza Midwood area. If you're familiar with Midwood, and then south for parts of Noda, just to your south, you want to be on the lookout for those impacts. These are heavily populated areas, Brandon, so you want to make sure folks are heeding this warning. This time, too, this time of day, 9:45 a.m., many folks just getting to work or maybe out and about. Not the time you want to be out traveling. You want to make sure that you're in your safe place as this system continues to track north and east rather quickly. And again, as I mentioned, Briar Creek Road, and then you're even looking towards Central Ave, heading even further east, again, towards Darby Acres, Winterfield, and beyond.
This is moving towards the Hickory Grove area. So Hickory Grove area also is where that circulation is moving towards. So Uptown Charlotte, the tornado warning is going to be removed for you because the threat for a tornado in Uptown Charlotte has slid east now towards the Hickory Grove area. This is lifting to the east towards Harrisburg. So that is where the circulation part of this tornado warning is. So Uptown, you're in the clear for a tornado, but east of Uptown, over towards the Hickory Grove area. You can see it here. Ted's putting in some of those velocity scans on there, trying to get that gate-to-gate wind difference, just seeing how intense the wind is. Now, with that last scan, the rotation did weaken quite a bit, Ted.
That's what I wanted to check in
right
on.
over Eastway Drive and Temple Lane as you're getting towards the Weiser Park area and Hickory Grove area. So, again, as this moves to the east, that is a good scan that we're seeing there where that rotation has weakened quite a bit.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to investigate on, seeing the lighter shade of green and the lighter shade of red, giving us a little bit of an indication in the weakening of that rotation. Still not out of the woods yet. If you're at Windsor Park, I wouldn't take this warning lightly. I'd still get into your safe place. We're talking Havenwood Road, pushing into Birchcrest Drive, continuing to head north and east. Still, make sure you get to your safe place. You exercise caution. This is along Central Avenue as well, pushing into Darby Acres. That's where we have the rotation indicated. Though it's weakening, Brandon, we still want to make sure that we're heeding caution and not taking this system lightly.
Absolutely.
As it has the history of sparking those down trees as well as leaving some damage in its wake. So now is the time to make sure that you're hunkered down, paying close attention, bringing your tablets, your cell phones charged with you, downloading the Pinpoint Weather app so we keep you focused and updated on the potential threats here throughout the morning.
Yeah, and if you live in Darby Acres, Windsor Park area, again, you can always jack up your TV. We're streaming, I believe, on Facebook Live as well. You can get on your mobile device and you can stream us there, but we definitely need you to get to your safe spot right now in those areas. Lowest level of your home, interior room, separate yourself from as many from the exterior walls as much as possible. This is a live look from Independence Boulevard this morning.
Yeah, we see the shake in the camera, of course, the wind gusts. What's good to see is a lot less cars out on the roadways. Again, this is where, if you know folks who travel around this time of day, make sure that they have a spot to go to, hunker down, get into a safe place. You don't want to be driving on the roadways through this warned area. And again, this is just north of Independence as it continues to exit that area, heading into rather quickly. Already took the tornado warning out of Uptown, as you mentioned, Brandon, and that's going to be heading up towards Harrisburg, as you mentioned. Concord now included in that polygon. So if you're up towards University area, you want to make sure you're staying on the lookout on the fringe for the impacts here of what would be this warned area as we have this rotation. Zooming out just a little bit, perhaps looking at this new area of rotation that's pushing further north towards State Highway, and that's going to be pushing towards Whispering Oaks, Pine Ridge, continuing to see those impacts approach 485 outer and inner north and east of Charlotte. So these are the updated motions that we're watching here for this rotation and for the brunt of this this system, Brandon, as it continues to exit the uptown region, but now focusing up towards Harrisburg.
Yeah, moving up towards Harrisburg, now moving through portions of Cabarrus County now. So this area of rotation we're seeing now moving past Caldwell Road, that's actually going to be moving right into downtown Harrisburg here within a matter of minutes. So if you live in and around downtown Harrisburg, you want to make sure you get into your safe spot immediately. This is a live look from Charlotte Motor Speedway. So this is actually just going to be south of the Speedway itself. So you can see Speedway Boulevard. There's Charlotte Motor Speedway right there. This area of rotation likely is going to be just south of the Speedway. And again, the problem is with tornadoes around here, when they do form, there's so much moisture around them, they end up being rain wrapped. So that Charlotte Motor Speedway live look, we're just seeing a bunch of rain coming at us. We're not necessarily seeing the clouds or the rotation part of the storm. So it'd be hard to see a tornado on camera this morning because the rain's going to be wrapping around it. This rotation continuing to move off to the north and east. So again, there it is, right over Stone Trail Road, Irwin Ridge Avenue, Riding Hill Avenue, so southwestern Harrisburg, over towards Highway 49, very popular highway there in Cabarrus County. A lot of commuters on that highway around this time of day. So this is going to be crossing Highway 49 west of downtown Harrisburg, lifting up into downtown Harrisburg, and just south of Charlotte Motor Speedway. So again, live look at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And you can see just the clouds there and a lot of that rain coming at us, but it's just a little hard to see. Can we actually take this full screen? Charlotte Motor Speedway's live look there. Yeah, it's just a bunch of rain and moisture coming at us this morning, Ted. It'd be kind of hard to see anything there.
Yeah.
But you don't have to see it. You need to be in your safe spot anyway. You need to be making sure you're taking cover. I am, encouraged to see that rotation's weakening a little bit. But the thing is, it's weakened and then it recouples. You know, it's like it's recycling a bit, and we see that a lot with these lines of storms.
I was going to say, to mention the speed of these storms, that's what happens where you have an area of rotation quickly spinning up into another area. So as one weekend, you have the potential for a second one to spin up, which is what we've been seeing as it drastically moved from eastern Charlotte, eastern Mecklenburg County into Cabarrus County. And the storm is moving at about 40 miles per hour, so very quick moving. And the northern part of that polygon, that tornado warning now included into parts of Concord. And as we see that center of rotation and that motion going north and east at about 40 miles per hour, perhaps zooming out a little bit, having a better look at what that track will be looking like at 40 miles per hour. We'll just zoom out and get us to about 40 to see if we can get a little bit of an identity on Concord 1002. So this is just about 11 minutes away. Mount Pleasant, you're looking at 1012 for your potential ETA here for what will be the brunt of this center of rotation coming out of Charlotte Motor Speedway, continuing to push to the north and east. But as you mentioned, Brandon, as one area weakens, another one spins up. Seeing the bright red over here, just over Charlotte Motor Speedway, indicating some significant winds with that. That's calling for about 58 miles per hour. So for a straight line wind alone, that is significant enough to pick up any lawn furniture, lawn debris, throw it around and make it airborne, something to watch out for. And then you look at the potential for the rotation in that. That's where the enhanced damage comes from those rotating winds.
Yeah, and we're seeing that live look for Charlotte Motor Speedway now. And again, you can see all the clouds and heavy rain moving through there. I am seeing a lot of weakening of the rotation, but I will say the rotation also, as you slide a little bit further north, I'm starting to see a little bit of rotation up towards Kannapolis too, Ted.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of areas of rotation along this line of storms. And again, we were talking about it earlier today. I'm just going to zoom this out and give you kind of a radar look at this line of storms. And again, when you get this curving in this line of storms, it's going to lead to those areas of circulation. We already have a lot of wind shear in the atmosphere right now, meaning the winds are changing in speed or direction with height. That leads to spin in the atmosphere itself. But when you've got some portions of the line moving faster than other portions of the line, that is also going to create some spin in the atmosphere too. So we're watching several areas of rotation right now moving through Cabarrus County. So also in Kannapolis, starting to see an area of rotation there popping up on our terminal scan, and we're still monitoring at least some weaker rotation moving east of Harrisburg right now too, Ted.
Yeah, so keeping an eye on really the broken storm, and we've seen this in case studies showing how these wiggly storms that they show moving through the Carolinas is actually where you have the enhanced wind shear and the higher potential for these spin-up tornadoes in this area, given that North and South Carolina not known for its bullseye for tornadic activity. But in the spring months, when we look at severe weather, these are the systems and these are the setups that set the environment up for the potential for that rotation, as we are watching not just out of Harrisburg and into north of Concord, now even seeing up towards Kannapolis, still under a severe thunderstorm warning, but seeing the potential for that rotation to develop even further, giving us the threat for what could be another area of interest to pay close attention to as this system continues to quickly move north and east.
That rotation is kind of tightening up there just east of Harrisburg, right over State Road 1139. This is Rocky River area. Yeah, so Rocky River area of Cabarrus County. Now, if you live in that area,
Road, Rocky River Road, taking you down street level here, what those impacts are looking like, seeing the potential for the enhanced rotation there. End to end, we have anywhere from 20 to 30 mile-per-hour difference on the two there, which is also going to be enhanced by that rotation in the forward motion of the storm itself. So really seeing the different rotations spinning up as this storm continues to track north and east, Brandon.
Right.
And this is just, again, the system moving into the warm air, those 60s and near 70 degrees that has been able to really ramp up with peaks of sunshine through the cloud cover, and now the heavy rain pulling through with the lift indicated by that cold front, all giving us the recipe for what is now the tornado warning over the area.
Yeah, and Rocky River, rather, that rotation really over that region. I've actually been texting my sister, my brother-in-law, and kids and the niece and nephew at home because they live in the Rocky River area. They're seeking shelter in their bathroom now. So again, a lot of folks adhering to the warning this morning. The tornado warning continuing for now eastern Cabarrus County. This warning running until 10:15. So I expect this warning to keep going as we continue to deal with this area of rotation, moving over Moss Creek Drive, State Road 1139, Holden Avenue Southwest. You want to make sure you're seeking shelter too. That's a pretty big community there in the Rocky River area. That is a massive community, a big neighborhood in that area. So definitely want to make sure you're seeking shelter right now in the Rocky River area. I do want to zoom just a little bit further north. I want to see if that area of rotation in Kannapolis, Ted, is kind of went away a little bit. I'm not seeing it as much as I was earlier.
Dissipated in the last few frames there from what I could tell.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm not seeing it on there as much. I think the biggest area that we're paying attention to right now is over Rocky River. Oh, man, look at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yeah, that is continuing to just deteriorate in terms of the conditions over Charlotte Motor Speedway. As Brandon mentioned before, these are all rain wrapped, so no need to try poking your head outside to get a view of this. Let the cameras, let our cameras that are out there do the work for you and take a look at things. We will be hunkered down you want to be hunkered down in your safe place through the brunt of this system as it rolls through. And again, Rocky River, you're in the brunt of it right now, seeing that rotation overhead continuing to travel north and east. The system moving at about 40 miles per hour rather quickly. And then even a secondary area up towards Kannapolis was seen, but that seems to have eased up in terms of those impacts and that rotation. But here's the latest look of your ETA, your time of arrival. The estimated time being Mount Pleasant, 10:12 a.m. So you're looking at just about 15 minutes from now. Rockwell, 10:24. Meisenheimer, 10:26. So quite some extra lead time for Rockwell and Meisenheimer, but Mount Pleasant now is where you want to activate that safety plan, activate your severe weather plan, getting into the lowest level of your home, putting as many walls between you and the outside of your structure and your home as possible, and make sure that you bring with you your pets, your plants, your pets, your people, and of course any medication that you need, and ride out the storm. You want to be in an interior room, whether that be a hallway, maybe a bathroom. If you have a basement, that would be ideal. A room without any windows, and make sure you have your devices charged so you can keep up with the updates that come directly through the Pinpoint Weather app. And of course, we continue to stream on Facebook and on digital platforms as well to stay with you through the entirety of this warning. Pushing north through Harrisburg and still seeing that area of rotation starting to collapse a little bit in the last frames. What do you think, Brandon? Were you
Yeah, I
get
agree.
that?
I agree. It is definitely weakening a little bit, but it's still there. We just got to do scan from the Charlotte terminal radar. Yeah, not as much rotation there. Definitely weakening quite a bit, but still seeing some damaging straight line winds. We still have those 40 to 60 mile per hour straight line winds this morning, possibly some isolated 70 mile per hour straight line winds. So that's something we're going to keep watching as we go through the morning. Here's another area of rotation over Clear Creek areas. You're getting down just northeast of Mint Hill.
Correct.
So again, we're continuing to see several areas of rotation along this line. But again, the line itself is producing the potential of 60 to maybe even 70 mile per hour straight line winds this morning. So regardless, honestly, I would just treat the whole line. If you're under a severe thunderstorm warning, I would treat it as a tornado warning this morning. I would just go to that lowest level of your structure, whether you're at work, whether you're at home with kids, maybe just go to the lowest level of your home. Not everybody has a basement. First floor is fine. Find a hallway, an interior hallway away from any exterior walls and windows, and just hunker down until this passes through. Because, Ted, I am getting a little concerned by how many areas of rotation we're seeing this morning along this line.
Yeah, and this is unfortunately really the setup that we've been seeing throughout the morning, as that instability has built and we have the line moving rather quickly. It's just getting enhanced by the wind shear and the forward motion, giving us that 1-2 punch. If I could take the entirety of this line, as Brandon mentioned, just treat the whole thing as it were the severe thunderstorm warning, as it were a tornado warning, as it comes into your area, moving at about 40 miles per hour. We are seeing that significant impact. Some just broad areas to watch out for: Unionville 1012, Fairview, you're looking at 1005, Mount Pleasant 1005, and then even towards parts of Albemarle 1027 for your impacts. Ansonville, you're looking at 1046, and Mount Gilead closer to 1050, Troy 1053 a.m. So really the course of the next hour, the system will be crossing east of Charlotte, heading through our eastern counties, and that's where you want to make sure that you're staying weather aware and then honing in on what will be the impacts of this tornado warning. Now pushing east of Harrisburg, and then again, the heavy rain, the second cell that we're watching out of Concord, continuing to travel towards Mount Pleasant. Not under the tornado warning as of right now, but still seeing the potential for what could be more of that rotation indicated by what will be the impacts from the potential of this severe weather, Brandon.
I think there might be just a little bit of rotation right in here. Let me zoom in. I'm kind of looking at we've got different tools that we're using as well, just to kind of look at some of the rotation. I was seeing some just over southeast, just towards State Road 1132, just kind of update to the tornado warning as well. It doesn't include Harrisburg anymore. So Harrisburg, you're no longer under the tornado warning this morning. It is now including downtown Concord and southeast Concord, so towards Troutman Road as you're getting up towards Bethel Church Road. But I'm not really seeing, when I look at the rotation, I'm not seeing it be as impressive as it was earlier. Ted. Definitely have seen it weaken quite a bit, but the thing is, the storm has a history of the rotation weakening and then re-strengthening moments later.
Yeah, the trend is not the finality of the storm. So just because you see one area of rotation weakening, that does not mean that the entirety of the storm itself is weakening. It's just that energy moving to a different area in that line, the other area of the atmosphere, picking up on the alley-oop, really, of what has been left behind from the rain, the downpours, that forward motion wind. We should also mention the rain comes down, some of that cooler air pools on the lower end, kicking up more of the instability ahead of this storm. So you have more of a cascading effect that happens with these systems that can cause another spin up in just a few miles away. So that's why we are seeing the almost the domino effect of one area of rotation into another. And again, as this storm itself has continued to break up, that shows some of that rotation pulling apart the fine line that we saw coming out of eastern Tennessee and parts of upstate South Carolina before arriving here in the Queen City.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of those strong winds mix down to the surface as well. So up in the upper levels, there's just a hefty amount of wind up there. And a lot of that wind is being and mixed down to the surface with some of the heavier rain. And Ted, you were just kind of talking about that as well, just some of the mixing that's happening down to the surface there. So again, still seeing a little bit of rotation. If you live in Mount Pleasant, you're not under the tornado warning yet, but I would just be prepared for possibly a tornado warning for you here shortly over Mount Pleasant, because that rotation's still there. It's moving like towards the Oak Cliffs area, Cold Springs Road, State Road, but I'm not really seeing within the tornado warning itself that's still over Cabarrus County, including downtown Concord, Wilshire Avenue, State Highway 73. We're not really seeing a lot of rotation there, and I believe the brunt of the storm's kind of moving through. And this is the Concord Mills exit on I-85 now.
Yeah, there's still a number of cars out there, not seeing anything in the clouds to indicate that rotation out here. But again, this is where you want to pull off on the road and find some place to hunker down. You don't want to be driving in this, especially high-profile vehicles with those winds picking up in excess of those 50 to 60 miles per hour from these warned storms. That can push around those high-profile vehicles. I'm talking the 18-wheelers, those vans, those ones that catch the wind. You want to be on the lookout for those impacts as well as this continues to track north and east rather quickly. So Concord Mills area underneath that tornado warning, that's going to be lasting for about another 10 minutes here, as well as pushing, as Brandon mentioned, that area of rotation extending towards Mount Pleasant. Not currently warned as of right now, but
right in here,
I would just exercise caution here, right? Better to be safe than sorry. You have lightning just to your north and west towards Cold Springs. That area of rotation, though could be weak, still significant enough to exercise caution, and don't take it lightly. Get to the lowest level of your home, and again, just ride it out just for a number of minutes, as this is moving pretty quickly. We've seen this cross over regions in a matter of 10 to 15 minutes, which is helpful for anyone who's concerned about being stuck in an area for an extended period of time. This won't be an all-day type thing, really just impacting your morning and really impacting at the very least next 10 to 15 minutes. If you are in the Oak Cliffs, Mount Pleasant region, that's where you want to exercise caution here this morning, as I'm seeing a little bit more of a potential enhancement of that rotation coming out of Mount Pleasant. Brandon,
yeah. Are you on the Greenville, Spartanburg radar? Or
this is out of Charlotte.
Charlotte?
Yeah.
Let's see here. Yeah, I'm seeing it there, right in there over Oak Cliffs and over Mount Pleasant. So if you live in Mount Pleasant, I'd just get to your safe spot. Go to your interior room, the lowest level of your structure. There is a good amount of rotation over you, enough that I believe you should go ahead and seek shelter. So downtown Mount Pleasant, right along Highway 73 there, that rotation is going to be crossing you here shortly. And also just trying to see if we've got any more other areas of rotation along the line as well. So I just asked the National Weather Service in Greenville, Spartanburg to see if they are going to extend this tornado warning. They're not going to. So they're going to, I believe, let the tornado warning over Cabarrus County expire. They say the rotation is weakening enough over Mount Pleasant to where they're not going to extend that tornado warning further east into Mount Pleasant. So again, if you're just now joining us, we did have a tornado warning about 30 minutes ago over uptown Charlotte, and that tornado warning it's shifted further east into Cabarrus County. But we are seeing those areas of rotation weaken, but we're still dealing with some hefty winds along this line of storms. I mean, we're talking about 60 to 70 mile per hour straight line winds, Ted. That's enough to knock down trees, cause power outages, take off roofs. So that's why you still want to make sure you're hunkering down, whether you have a tornado warning issued for your area or not. And as we've seen, Ted, multiple areas of rotation with the line. We have the tornado warning earlier for Cleveland County, one right over uptown Charlotte, of all places. The most populated area in the Queen City News viewing area, and tornado warning right over uptown, about 30 minutes ago. And we still have this tornado warning continuing for Cabarrus County until 10:15, but I'm pretty confident seeing the rotation kind of weaken in that area. It's actually moving east of southeastern Cabarrus County, but still want to hunker down because you still have some damaging winds moving through southeastern Cabarrus County as we speak, and eastern Cabarrus County towards Mount Pleasant.
Yeah, moving through pretty quickly, easing up in terms of that rotation. Likely we'll see this warning expire here in a matter of 3 minutes or so, coming up on about 10:10. So we'll be watching that closely, or rather 7 10 minutes here, 10:15 for the expiration of that, if they don't cancel it sooner than that as this continues to exit that warned area. But again, as we head throughout the morning, still more areas could see the impacts of the straight line winds along with these thunderstorms. Downed tree limbs have been left behind in its wake. We also will see the potential. You mentioned the tree limbs and the power lines, but just coming up on St. Patrick's Day, a lot of folks may be having their lawn decorations out, inflatables, or even any lawn furniture that you might have. Make sure that has been secured, because that can blow around, and those are those things that can cause concern once airborne in these 50+ mile-per-hour winds from these severe thunderstorms moving through. So extending south through Indian Trail, north up through Salisbury, continuing to move east at about 40 miles per hour. This swath and this line of storms still impacting you here through your late morning as we head towards the afternoon. And just to look at some of your ETAs, your estimated time of arrival for the brunt of this system. Waxhaw, you're looking at 10:11, so just in about 2 minutes for the impacts. Now, Wesley Chapel, you're in it as we speak, and then talking to you folks over at Red Cross, 10:18, Lancaster, 10:20, and then even south towards Monroe, 10:23, Albemarle, you're looking at about 10:30, so just about 20 minutes away. Wingate, you're looking at 10:32 a.m. for those potential impacts as this system continues to track east. So we'll keep a close eye on not just the storm system itself, but these areas of rotation that could spin up really quite literally at any time throughout the morning, as we see it significantly picking up in speed, and of course the potential for that intensity to pick up through our late morning hours as that instability builds ahead of the line.
Yeah, these have been very quick spin up couplets. These were areas of rotation. They spin up very, very quickly with a line like this. So they are going to let the tornado warning expire for Cabarrus County at 10:15. So that is good news. We're seeing that area of rotation weakening. Doesn't mean that we won't see other areas of rotation pop up as we go through the morning. Again, we've been seeing several areas of rotation pop up along this line of storms. So even then, as I've been saying all morning, even without the tornado threat, we still have a damaging straight line wind threat. 60, 70 mile per hour straight line winds compared to an F0 tornado is going to create about the same amount of damage.
Correct.
So you still want to make sure you're hunkering down.
Yeah, I certainly want to hunker down. And again, make sure you have the Pinpoint Weather app downloaded. You can stay updated with watches, warnings. It will track where your phone is, giving you alerts sent straight to your phone. Lightning detected in your area, it will let you know. Any warnings detected in your area, it will let you know. Watches, we are under a tornado watch as we speak, as well as under a severe thunderstorm watch with those active severe thunderstorm warnings ahead of that line pushing through further east. So download the Pinpoint Weather app to get the updates. You can also stay locked with us, stream us in times like this when needed, on your tablet, on your phone. Take it to your safe place with you so you can stay updated throughout the brunt of the storm. And if you were to lose power as well, it will be the best source for staying updated on this line of storms pushing through. So as they let that tornado warning expire, getting the all clear for Charlotte, again, uptown in the clear from what was once a warned area over you, now just outside of Concord and continuing to expire here slowly as we look to see more of the impacts throughout the morning as we get into the later morning hours. Looking at Monroe, Wadesboro, you're going to be on the lookout for those impacts here throughout the morning. So certainly want to make sure that you're watching this line closely as it continues to travel to the north and east. Brandon giving us the latest track here for the updates. Your ETA still 10:20. Monroe, Wingate, you're looking at your arrival time about 10:29. Mineral Springs, you're in it. As of right now, Unionville 10:16, so just about 4 minutes away. And then even further, Ansonville and Anson County, you're looking at 10:52, so an extra 40 minutes for your lead time in terms of the brunt of the storm. But again, this system has a history of these spin-up tornadoes, has a history of these severe thunderstorm warnings, the straight line winds that come along with it. which is why you want to make sure that you respect the system as it approaches your area. Don't take it lightly, and make sure you have a way to stay safe if you were to have a tornado warning issued and spin up in your area. Coming up on about 3 minutes for the extent of the current tornado warning, which will be allowed to expire here, but does not mean we're out of the woods yet when it comes to those straight line winds. And make sure that you have secured your outdoor furniture, your outdoor decorations, and you're staying weather aware here for areas east of I-77, still south towards York, Rock Hill, Lancaster. You still have some pockets of heavy rain, but the brunt of this pushing through Lancaster into Union County, that's where our eyes are going to be set here moving forward for Union County, seeing the impacts of the severe thunderstorm warning as of right now, Brandon.
Yeah, so spots like Rockingham, Albemarle, and then Chesterfield County down towards Sherrall, probably wondering what are you guys talking about, right? You know, they haven't seen anything all morning. They have the tornado watch is in effect for Stanley County, Richmond, and down through Chesterfield County, but the storm hasn't quite reached your area yet. So you're still not in the clear in Rockingham, Sherrall, Albemarle area. Albemarle, matter of fact, the storm's right on your doorstep. I'm actually waiting to hear from the Raleigh National Weather Service, because they'll be taking over as this line slides to the east, and they'll be issuing the severe thunderstorm warnings for spots like Stanley County as you're getting up towards the Richmond County area. So just kind of waiting to see what they do with that. I believe they'll probably issue a severe thunderstorm warning for the Stanley County here shortly. Matter of fact, if you look further north, Ted, now this doesn't include our viewing area in particular, but up towards the Greensboro area, they're now under a tornado warning. So yeah, we'll continue to monitor this through the morning, because there's going to likely be more areas of rotation as this line slides further east.
And we do know Greensboro heading east towards Raleigh, Durham, those were areas of concern as well. Raleigh stretching all the way up through Richmond and under that moderate risk for severe weather. So something that we'll be watching closely. And as we mentioned, this has the history and moving into more of that instability, where you mentioned Albemarle, folks in Chesterfield County, even into parts of Union County, you might think what's going on. They might even see some peaks of sunshine, which might sound like a good thing, but that helps increase the instability and that heat that we even saw a few pockets of sunshine over uptown shortly before this was warned. And we mentioned when we started how this impact was right over Charlotte Motor Speedway. Could not even really see much, and this is now the aftermath as we have a look at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Still cloudy, still a little wet from what was left behind, but certainly not seeing the same impacts that were there just a matter of minutes ago, Brandon.
Yeah, I haven't seen any reports out of the Cabarrus County or Mecklenburg County where that tornado warning was issued earlier, but I'm seeing some down tree reports in Catawba County up towards Claremont, up into Morganton, Burke County. We've seen some trees knocked down there. There was, I believe, a tree knocked down on a home earlier over towards Cleveland County when that line was moving further east. Iredell County, a lot of reports coming out of Troutman, multiple trees down in the Troutman area. We've got trees down towards Love Valley. That's also a small community there in Iredell County, Harmony. A lot of trees knocked down up towards Iredell County. You've seen a lot of reports of that. So, of course, this line, even if it's not producing a tornado, producing the damaging straight line winds. And I believe that, the Raleigh office, they also cover the Greensboro area. So that's probably why we haven't seen that severe thunderstorm warning issue for Stanley County yet, because they're probably so focused on that area of rotation there, Tad.
Yeah, they have some systems to focus on as we continue to track the systems in our area, pushing into Albemarle, Union County as well, from Indian Trail into Monroe. That warning over Concord has been able to expire, so we'll keep a close eye on the system. Whereas we're not out of the woods yet, we'll be tracking the east portions of our area, heading into Union County as well. Meteorologist Brendan Lawson and myself still sticking with you throughout the existence of the storm and the entirety of it as we head into your late morning hours. We'll have a quick break, and when we return, we'll have Positively Charlotte here in your regularly scheduled program.
you.